Welcome to the Empowered with Erika podcast. My name is Erika Vishkalis, and I'm an empowerment coach, mindset mentor, personal development enthusiast, and holistic health advocate. I have spent the last several years healing my mind, body, and soul, and have learned so much along the way. From healing trauma to navigating a sober lifestyle and learning how to step into my personal power, it has been transformational. If you are looking to heal, to be inspired, to uplevel your life, and become the most empowered version of yourself, you've come to the right place. I created this podcast to help you know you are worthy of rewriting your story and to help you navigate your own empowerment journey. You are worthy of living your most authentic, aligned, and inspired life, and I can help you get there. Whether you are diving deep into personal development or just need a weekly pick-me-up, I've got you covered. Thank you so much for pressing play today. I cannot wait to transform together. Let's get empowered. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Empowered with Erika. Your host, Erika here, and I am stoked for today's podcast episode. So I am honestly recording this just off the cuff. It's a topic that I just really am passionate about and really was on my mind tonight. So I was like, let's freaking record a podcast. It's probably going to be a little bit of a rant. I have no notes, no outline. Not that I take tons of notes for this podcast, but I try to have a little bit of organization in my life. But yeah, we're not doing that today. So let's dive in. We are talking all about the concept of standing up for yourself, speaking your truth, and using your voice. Okay, so this is something that, especially as women, I think can be difficult. So I'm not here to exclude the men. I know I have several men that listen to this podcast, and I appreciate all of your guys' support. But I think that I see this a lot more with my female friends. The struggle of using their voice, speaking their truth, and standing up for themselves. Oof, and guys, it is fucking important to do so. I think I might have just been born sassy AF. I'm not really sure. Some baby pictures that I have seen tend to support that theory. But I've been someone my whole life that uses my voice. Probably a little bit too much. Probably why I started this podcast, because obviously a bitch likes to talk. But I think it can be used for good. I think that it is so incredibly important to stand up for yourself, and I think especially as women, we don't tend to do that, which is really unfortunate, and it's something that I hope to change, and I hope to empower more women to speak up for themselves and stand in their truth. So I'll be honest though, this is hard to do, even as someone like myself who definitely doesn't have a problem with standing up for myself and speaking my truth, and who definitely is opinionated. I am an opinionated woman. If you have a personal conversation with me, you will know I get on rants. It happens. But speaking your truth and standing up for yourself are kind of a different thing versus just like talking a lot, or versus just like sharing your opinion on something. When it comes to more personal topics, or standing up for yourself or standing up for someone else, that can be scary AF. Am I right? So I've had to do this numerous times in my life, and I'm not going to lie. It can be really scary. It can be really intimidating. And like I said, I hate to like put this little stigma out there, but especially on women. I have really noticed with women, we are scared to stand in our truth and use our voices. And I think there's a lot of reasons behind that I can go into deeper in another episode. That episode would actually need some preparation, but I did just recently read a really good book called Witch. Oh God, what was the author's name? I think it's Lisa something. I'll put it in the show notes. But it goes all about, it like really dives into the history of women and how, like witches were burned at the stake, and how that's been like passed down generationally for women to not use their voices. And it goes way more into other things that were kind of interesting, not super my vibe, but it's definitely, I think, something that a lot of women struggle with. And I do think that partially that's because of society. So apparently though, Erika, myself, I have always been someone that stands up for myself, speaks my truth. I shouldn't say always. I've gotten better at it as I age, but I am someone that has done this for many, many years. And I remember the first time that I was in a position where I had to stand up for someone. It wasn't even myself. It was standing up for someone. I was in middle school. I think 8th grade. Yeah. 8th grade. And there was someone in my class who was getting picked on. And she was someone I'd say was like a friend or an acquaintance. I don't really remember how close we were, but I went to a really small private school up until high school. And so this girl was kind of getting bullied, but she didn't even really know it. And there was something going through the school about her. And I didn't think she had any idea. And it was pretty awful, if I'm being honest. It was pretty freaking awful. And I told her. And first I went to my mom. I was like, should I tell her? Should I tell her that these things are happening? Because I know if it was me, I would want to know. And, I stood up for her. And honestly, that was really hard. It was really hard because there was a lot of backlash. I was bullied for the remainder of the year, and I was outcast from my friend group. I went home crying so many days after school. And I'll be honest, I think that incident was one of the first times that hardened me to female friendships. I don't know about y'all, but having friends, especially as a woman, can be really hard. Women can be really competitive. Women can be really catty. And I have a ton of amazing women in my life, so I'm not going to say all are, but I'm very selective with my friends. And it has taken me having a couple really solid female friendships to be more open and willing to be friends with women. And I think that's why for a long time, a lot of my friends were guys, because they just tend to be a little chiller, right? So when I was in 8th grade, I stood up for someone, and it really bit me in the ass, if I'm being honest. And it was hard. It was really freaking hard. And like I said, it was, emotionally draining. And at around the same time was when I think I had fully acknowledged and started dealing with the fact that I wasn't going to be seeing my father, my biological father, anymore. I stopped seeing him the summer going into 6th grade, but I didn't really process it for a while. I didn't go to therapy for it for a long time. And I remember that 8th grade year, it really just slapped me in the face, and it was really hard. And then having this bullying on top of it, yeah, it was fucking scary. It was not a good time. I was straight up not having a good time, my friends. But to me, it was worth it. To me, it was worth standing up for someone and using my voice for a cause that mattered to me. Okay? And I've had to since do that a couple times in my life. And it has bit me in the ass a couple times in my life. But I'm not going to stop standing up. I'm not going to stop using my voice. And I'm not going to stop speaking my fucking truth. Because it is important. So I remember when I was in college, I was in a sorority. And, I was in a leadership position in my sorority at the time. And I don't remember exactly what happened or what set it off. But I remember one of the girls, there was sides being taken on an issue. And I stood up for someone that wasn't as well liked, or there was a couple people that, just didn't necessarily treat her right. And so then that put me on, quote, her side, and again, bit me in the ass because I stood up for someone. And that was really hard. That was also really freaking hard, guys. I ended up quitting my sorority because of many, many, many reasons, but one of which being is I basically was outcasted, and people didn't get a chance to really get to know me. I have a handful of really good friends still from that experience, and I loved it, but it was really hard. It was hard, honestly, feeling like I was recreating that 8th grade experience, except in college. And I was going through a lot of stuff. I mean, I was not my best self. I was drinking when, I was in college, obviously. I was grieving the loss of a friend. I had a lot going on. I had a lot going on because who doesn't have a lot going on? We always have shit going on, right? And having this situation happen where like what was supposed to be my family away from home really turning on me and going from someone that felt like accepted to being outcast. And I'm sure, like, guys, like I said, I was drinking. I was not a perfect person. Like, I am sure that I did some wrong too. I'm not at all putting the whole situation on one person or one situation or one like thing. But I do feel like the tides really turned when I decided to stand up for someone. And that was really hard. It's really hard when you use your voice and you follow your instinct and it kind of feels like it bites you in the ass. Okay? And much more recently, I had to use my voice again in a couple work situations. And it was scary. It was hard. I was putting my personal and my professional reputation on the line. I had to stand up for myself because I knew if I didn't, other people wouldn't. And I was in the position where I was not being treated the way that I wanted to be, nor should have been in a professional setting. And it would have been really easy for me to sweep it under the rug, but I was like, hell no, not doing that. I was in this situation at work where essentially I had to stand up for myself. And I had to go to the higher ups and tell them what was going on and share my experience. And I was pretty freaking honest, guys. I was like, this is not okay. This is not how someone should be treated. Obviously, I want the other party that's involved to get the help they need, but this is absolute bullshit. And I'm not here for it. And that was really scary to do. It was scary to stand up for myself. It was scary to stand my ground. But honestly, I'm glad I did. And then I had another situation that I can't get too into. But I was also put in a position where I had to stand up for other people. And again, I had to put my personal and professional reputation a bit on the line. I needed to talk to higher ups. I needed to stand up for what I thought was right. And some massive changes happened. It's a really beautiful fucking thing when people come together and put themselves out there and use their voice and stand up for themselves and stand up for what they believe in, and to know their worth and know their value and know that they deserve better than the situation they are in. And sometimes, guys, when you're in a situation that you know you deserve better from, you just need to walk away. But we're not always in a position where we can. Okay? We're not always in a position where we can walk away. Sometimes you gotta take it to someone that's higher up than you. Sometimes you need to take a situation to your boss, or maybe say it's like a family situation, maybe someone else in the family, or sometimes you gotta like confront situations and you need to put yourself out there and you need to be vulnerable and you need to share your story and your experience. And that can be scary as fuck to do. That can be incredibly terrifying. And I know that because I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen the time where I've stood up for myself and I've reaped the rewards. I've also seen the times where I've stood up for myself or someone else and I've gotten bitten in the ass. And it sucks. It sucks when you put yourself out there and you feel like it was for nothing. Okay, but it's not always going to be for nothing. And even if you don't get the outcome that you desire, the fact that you took the time to step into your power, to speak your truth, and to not settle, to not fucking settle, to set a boundary and stand up for yourself, that's a powerful moment. Because it is showing yourself, it is showing your mind, it is showing your body, it is showing those around you that you will not settle for this nonsense. And I know I have a whole episode about not fucking settling, so go take a listen because that's a whole nother freaking rant, all right? But it is powerful to use your voice to create change. It is powerful to use your voice to set the standard for yourself. It is powerful to use your voice when you feel that something needs to be changed and something needs to be done, and that maybe you've been wronged, maybe you have seen something happen multiple times that doesn't align with your values. Standing up and speaking your truth is so incredibly important, because guess what? We're not going to create change. We're not going to create momentum if we don't bring awareness to a situation. You cannot change a situation if you do not bring awareness to it. Am I right? I know I'm fucking right. Okay? Just like the concept of if you want to heal, you have to feel. Okay? So if you want to change a situation, you got to put on your big girl pants and you got to use your voice. And that can be really fucking hard. It can be really scary. I'm here to acknowledge that because I've been there, and sometimes it sucks. And sometimes you aren't going to get the outcome you want, but sometimes you are going to get the outcome you want. But regardless of the outcome, taking the step, taking the chance in yourself for speaking your truth, it's incredibly powerful. And it is something that us as women, we need to get more used to fucking doing. You need to speak your truth in your relationship. You need to speak your truth at work. You need to speak your truth with your family. You need to be able to use your voice and communicate with those around you and stand up for yourself, because guess what? Here's a hard fucking truth, people. Often, no one else is going to stand up for you but yourself. Everyone in life is thinking about what is good for them. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because at the end of the day, all you got is you. Yeah, I have incredible friends. I have an incredible partner. I've got some great family members. I know I have people that have my back. Okay, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. And if I want change, I'm the one responsible for creating that change. And sometimes that change is out of my control. But you bet I'm going to do my damnedest. I'm going to do my damnedest to create that change. I am going to do what I can to make sure that the standards that I have set for my life are being met. And that if I'm in a situation that does not align with my standards and with my values and with what I desire for my life, that I am going to use my voice. I'm going to put on my big girl pants and I'm going to use my voice and say this is not okay. And like I said, there are situations where honestly you can do that and nothing's going to fucking happen. I've been in those situations where you're like, what was the point of me putting myself out there? Well, honestly, at the end of the day, the point of putting yourself out there is showing to yourself that you believe you are worthy of putting yourself out there, that you believe you are worthy of creating that change, that you believe you are worthy of having those standards. It is powerful. It is important. It is important to show yourself that you matter, and using your voice to advocate for yourself and to advocate for those around you if necessary. It can be a scary freaking thing, but it is a necessary thing. Okay? And this, I think we've seen a lot of activism and advocates in the past several years. And honestly, I think it's a beautiful thing that more people are standing up for themselves and speaking their truth. Because guess what? We all have different truths. We all see the world through our unique lens of our experiences. Because I have been through things that cause me to see situations differently than someone else may see them. And when you share your truth, when you are vulnerable, when you put yourself out there and you share why you see things a certain way, or why something that may be acceptable for one person isn't acceptable for you, you never know what ripple effect you can create. And often when, you're setting a standard, it can be a positive thing. And it can show not only yourself, but those around you like, hey, it's fucking important to have a standard. It is fucking important to stand up for myself and to use my voice. Because like I said, no one else is going to do it for you. No one is going to hold your hand in this life, and you need to do it for yourself. And that can be hard. That's a hard pill to freaking swallow, to realize, oh shit, I'm on my own. Honestly, we are all on our own in certain ways. And like I said, I have great family. I have great friends. I have a great relationship. I'm so incredibly grateful for all those in my life. So yes, I'm not alone, but at the end of the day, I am me. And I am the only one that really is responsible for advocating for myself. And it's a beautiful thing when we stand up for those around us, or we stand up for causes that we believe in. I am not at all saying don't do that. If anything, I'm saying fucking do it. Find the causes that are important to you and freaking go all in, my friend. Stand up. Use your freaking voice, because you never know how your truth can affect other people. You never know the ripple effect that it's going to cause. And honestly, that is one reason why I started this podcast, because when I would share my story or chat with people, they were like, wow, that really helped me. Thank you. Or wow, that made me see something differently. And I was like, why not just start doing this on a more public platform? Because I think that we all are given life lessons for a certain reason. We are all put in certain circumstances and certain situations for a reason. Okay. And my most recent situation, all these other little things that happened in my life, the bullying in middle school and the kind of outcast situation in college, and these other times where I've had to stand up for myself and say, no, this is not okay, or where I've had to stand up for other people and say, no, this is unacceptable, and I will not stand with this, primed me for this situation where some pretty big change happened. And I'm so incredibly proud of all the women who stood up and used their voice. I'm incredibly, incredibly proud of the amount of young women that stood up for themselves and made themselves be heard. And I'm proud of those who also took their truth with an open mind. I think that's something else that's incredibly important, guys. We need to keep an open mind when we are listening to other people. Because, Kyle and I, my partner and I, we talk about this all the time because he sees things differently than I see things. And sometimes, like, our viewpoints, often they don't necessarily align. So we're like, okay, what the hell? Why do you think that? Or he'll be like, I do not see it that way at all. But then when we discuss it and we share why we see things a certain way, it helps us know each other better. It helps us know the perspective they're looking at life from. Okay? And then we're able to have a lot more harmony and peace and love. Right? Because when you understand why someone is doing something, why someone is doing something and why they see things the way they do and why maybe they have the opinions that they have, it allows you to have a lot more grace. It allows you to have a lot more love, a lot more patience, and a lot more happiness in those situations. And I just think it's so incredibly important that we make sure that we are exercising our voice, that we are using our voice, that we are standing up for ourselves, because no one else is going to do it for you. I know I've said that like a million fucking times on this episode, but guess what? You need to hear it again. No one else is going to stand up for you but yourself. If you want change, if you need to stand up for yourself, then you got to put the big girl pants on and you got to do it for you. Because no one else is responsible for your happiness at the end of the day. No one else is responsible for your peace. And that can be a hard pill to swallow. We always want to put our happiness and our peace on other people, but at the end of the day, it is you. You are the one responsible for it. So, I really encourage you to start using your voice. And you can start in little ways. You can start in little ways this is going to sound so fucking dumb, but honestly, it's a little way that has helped me. So say Kyle asked me, where do you want to go for dinner? Now, yes, I am an indecisive person, but sometimes I know what I want to eat. And I'm just like, oh, whatever, because I'm a people pleaser at heart. At the end of the day, as assertive as I can be, as opinionated as I can be, I tend to be a people pleaser. So sometimes with little things, I don't like voicing my opinion. And, often I actually have no idea where I want to eat because I'm just that indecisive about those things. But when I know what I want, I have started to say it of like, you know what? I want this versus this. Or maybe I know we normally do this, but can we do this instead? And just using your voice in little areas of your life is going to help you practice for when those big moments come. When you need to start standing up for yourself, when you need to speak your truth in maybe a moment of difficulty. If you start speaking your truth in the smaller areas of your life, it will allow you to have more confidence to do so in the bigger areas, okay? So this was a bit of a ramble, a bit of a tangent, but guys, I have seen the power firsthand of standing up for yourself, of using your voice, and how it can really create beautiful change. And I love when I see women stepping into their fucking power, realizing their worth, realizing their value, and setting those standards and speaking up for themselves. It is a freaking amazing, amazing thing. So remember, you can do it. Your voice is worthy of being heard. You matter, and you are important. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise, okay? Your voice, it matters. You were given a voice. You were given a purpose. You were given the opinions you were given for whatever reason, okay? It's okay. You were given this set of glasses to see the world through for a reason, and it's a beautiful thing that we all have different perspectives and we all can bring different truths and different values to the table. We all can allow each other to see things differently, and I think that's really freaking cool. That is something I've loved about the past couple of years, is more people speaking their truth. It allows me to have a worldview that I would have never known otherwise. Okay? So you never know how your words can affect someone. You never know the ripple effect that it can create. So I just encourage you today to start using your voice. Start using your voice. It might be scary. It probably will be scary. It might be difficult, but you can do it. I know that you can. And I know that, honestly, life changes when you start using your voice and you start standing up for yourself. So with that, I'm going to end this podcast, and I'm so grateful for all of you who tuned in today, for all of you who buckled up for this bit of a ride. I know I got a little heated, as I tend to, so I'm so grateful for this Empowered with Erika community. Wow, I can't speak. I'm so grateful for this Empowered with Erika community. You guys are a bunch of badasses, and I love y'all. So thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and for taking the time to be a part of our community. Don't forget to check the show notes for resources that I shared in today's episode, and of course to connect with me on social. You can find me on Instagram at erika.vishkalis. You can also find me on Facebook at erikavishkalis. I always love hearing from you, so leave a comment, leave a review, shoot me a DM, let me know what you loved and what you want to hear more about. And don't forget to tag me if you share the episode with your friends or with your family or on your story. If you want to hear more empowering content, then make sure to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when our next episode drops. I cannot wait to share more with you. I will see you next week, and don't forget to stay empowered.